I just realized I did not have chat overlay turned on. What is wrong with me? Let's fix that. There we are. Much better. Much better. If you're perhaps watching this on a platform that tried to delete an article from Bloomberg about vaccines this week, you can go over to YouTube and watch it there, or Twitch TV and watch this there. This is on all the platforms. And only one of those platforms has tried to ban me twice in the last week, and then overturned those bans within. One of them overturned it within 10 minutes. The other, I'm not impressed with Facebook this week. I'm just not. I'm very literally twice in a week for bullshit things that both got overturned. So little annoyed at the moment. Mom has entered the chat. Mom, Facebook tried to have me, and I'm very annoyed. Anyways, it's been a week full of self-pity for a thing that happens to everyone all the time. And I'm aware, like, I talked to my husband about this yesterday, and I was like, I'm aware that I have this super fucking ridiculous level of privilege in having because I have this platform with a bunch of people following it. I'm way more likely to get reported by anti-vaxxers for something completely innocuous and get my page taken down or whatnot. But also, I have access. I'm more likely to have somebody following me who works at Facebook. But that said, there are people who don't do anything wrong with what they say. They say nothing, and get banned for, as so many people have pointed out, I got banned for calling someone a potato. Like, completely, entirely wrong. And it's just, it's not fair that I, by virtue, and never mind just individual people on their pages, people who run pages with 20, 30,000 people that, don't have a big enough audience yet to necessarily have someone, at Facebook following their page. And they just happen to get hit by a bunch of anti-vaxxers reporting them. They don't have the same kind of recourse I do. Robert Thompson just asked, what's this deleted article you're talking about? If you scroll down my Facebook page, I just posted an article from Bloomberg. And I mean, it's Bloomberg. This is nowhere contentious at all. It was from Bloomberg, and the article was on, it was the Pfizer vaccine is found to be 100% effective in 12 to 15-year-olds, which that's fucking fantastic, right? And my caption on it was, someone just said Coke everywhere. I should probably this is the most kitschy pillow I have. And I think it's just, look, I don't know if it speaks to my aesthetic, but it speaks to my late 30s-ness and my Diet Coke addiction. So I needed it. It brings me joy. It brings us joy. Marie Kondo, it needs us joy. Anyways, hold on a second. But yeah, it was a completely innocuous article. My caption was just "Good news, everyone," Farnsworth style. And it was I went to, and here's the thing, that day, my moment of science, it's the first time ever that I've written a moment of science that had not a single swear in it. Apparently I can do it. That's a thing I can do. I can go 800 words and not swear. Once. I don't expect ever again. But I went to bed thinking, all right, what am I going to do for April Fools? Am I going to do really commit hard to an article about some bullshit science? Am I going to do, a thing on pranks through funny scientific pranks? I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I was thinking about it, and I woke up and I, just every once in a while, I'll wake up a few hours before I'm planning on it and just, check the phone and see what's happening. And I woke up and I was banned. I'm like, what did I do this time? And it was just, I was so shocked and angry and annoyed. And like I said, so lucky, very, very lucky that I have a couple people who work at Facebook that were kind enough to reach out, or one of them tweeted back at me and said, slide into my DMs. But it was, one of them who had reached out a while ago, and something that happened to a friend was, I'm not sure which one of them sending in the request got it fixed, but thank both of you. I don't want to say their names in case that's not a thing. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but anyways, thank you. But yeah, it's shitty that the only way someone can hope to not have the system screw them is by just getting lucky and having somebody follow them. from the website that we all rely on for so many things in our life. So switching over to what from where Nancy Keller said. There are basically, if you're watching this on Facebook and you want to make sure you can see it, just in case I get zucked, because this streams in to all the different platforms. I'm using a website called restream.io. And so this is streaming to all my different platforms, over to YouTube, to Twitch, and to Facebook. It's also over on Periscope. So if you're on Twitter, you can watch this straight through my Twitter account. But from what I understand, Twitter is going to be getting rid of Periscope eventually. So that's why I'm not linking to Periscope. Besides, who goes to Periscope for video? But yeah, I see. DLB Aldous asks, can I sub through Twitch? I believe so. I have people who watch on Twitch. I don't have any subscribers from what I know. It's like, please come subscribe, come to Twitch. It's, from what I understand, there is a gaming table somewhere hidden at a post office for me right now that I have to go pick up. So eventually gaming streaming will happen here. I just need to get slightly more organized on my schedule. Just writing an article day is a lot, especially the way I write them. But let's see. Rune just said, maybe it was an April Fool's prank against you. You know, I'm just going to say it was an April Fool's prank that backfired, because like they were, I tweeted a screen cap of this thing when it was taken down. And there were, I'm just going to take this caption off the screen because it's hiding your comments and I don't want to do that forever. I figured that, and you guys have seen the address by now. But like, I don't think it looks good for Facebook because so many other journalists follow me, because, that's technically what I do / what I am. It's I don't think a company wants to piss off a journalist who a lot of other journalists follow, because there were like CNN journalists retweeting about this yesterday. So doesn't look good. Akiko, Debbie just commented, glad the headache's somewhat better. Number one, I appreciate it. Number two, the thing about having a chronic headache, and like I wake up every day of my life with head pain. I have to, and the thing is, as soon as I take my medication, it's kind of it's like 20 minutes and it's generally taken care of. Then there are occasional days where the meds don't help enough. And just gotta fucking take care of it. I'm glad you're subscribed over on Twitch. Well, 2K4. I like it's yeah. Thank you for subscribe. It's Twitch is good. Twitch is the way of the future. We're getting there. But it's anyways. But yeah, it's where was I? Yeah, the headache. Then there's the occasional day where it's just like, like I said, most of the time can control it. Wake up, it's kind of sore. I have to eat to take my headache med. So it's like I have to drag myself half asleep out of bed to the kitchen to, throw down food as fast as I can while I'm nauseous, because like I'm a little nauseous because my head hurts and I don't want to eat. And so after that, it's just get the pill down and I'm fine. And then there are days like, for those of you guys who are my patrons, you guys saw me in some severe pain, during the patron stream. Like you guys saw a couple of really severe attacks where like my left eye swelled shut. And it was pretty bad for the rest of the weekend. But that's rough. That happens sometimes. And it's rough. That's much more rare than just, it's kind of hurty today. So I'm glad that doesn't happen that often. I'm glad you guys really haven't had to see that, because I don't like going through it, and I don't like people having to see it, because I think seeing someone else like in so much pain they can't handle what's happening, right? Like they're like, oh, the pain has taken out. Like, you guys don't want to, I don't want to pull you through that with me. Like, it's bad enough to know that it's happening, but watching it just, anyways, I'm gonna answer. I see a couple. Thank you guys for the compliments on the looks. I deeply appreciate it, because my ego. It neat. Look, there's a reason I put on so much makeup and wigs. It's because I'm delicate and need to feel pretty. But Akiko, for your answer on explain the audience today's wigs. I think this wig was sent from Russell, so thank you for it's Russell. Between you and Akiko, my entire wig collection is just sorted. I think Mento sent one of them too. Yeah, this one's just very long. But I love them for this stream. They make me happy. They give they add a little bit of character to it. That, and you guys who are here regularly know that I have relatively thin hair, and this is a little bit lighter than my natural hair color, but it's pretty close to it. If I could grow my hair this long, I would be so happy. Oh, but anyways, I dig this wig. It looks relatively natural. And the eye color, you will be very happy to hear this, Akiko. This was Lexi, you're stand. If she keeps jumping in front of my light, the least she could do is hop on top of my lap and come over here and be cute for you guys, but no. And the eye color is a combination of the palette you sent me, Akiko, the Color Pop Sailor Moon palette. There's a coral palette from Juvia's Place that I fucking love. It has a really good highlight on it, and I think those are the two. So, but yeah, and the blush I love using pinks and corals from makeup palettes. So this is a pink from the Juvia's Place palette, but normally when I'm using a pink on here, it's the one that you sent me. It's a really good the Sailor Moon Color Pop pink one. It's a really cute pink. It just looks like you're blushing, and that's what I want from a blush. I just want to make it look like I'm not dead. Hey, color happened to you look alive. Anyways, I appreciate the compliment. So there's your what happened to my face before. Anyways, so it's David Jones. She suffered, was censored, and blocked that we may shit post. I died on the cross for this shit posting. I did what I could. Anyways. Still slowly turning you into Mora from Schitt's Creek. I feel like I need to watch Schitt's Creek to figure out the reference to how I'm turning into. I mean, I'm okay with this reference because I love the actress. I need to understand what's happening. Thank you for the compliment. I dig the long wigs. Like I said, I wish I could grow my hair that long, but like my hair is about the longest it can get without it starting to look really unhealthy just because of how thin it is. So it's like it's at its max for how much I can push it. So this is why the good Lord invented wigs, obviously. Anyway, before we get into any of this silliness about science, there's something we really have to address here. The Snyder Cut. Now, I know I'm not a professional movie critic, obviously. This is not a thing that we normally chit chat about in here. If you were someone who wants to avoid spoilers for the Snyder Cut, why? You know what the plot is to every one of these before you watch them. A bunch of superheroes need to get a glowy box thing, and there's a bad guy, and they have to get the glowy box thing and put it, and not let the bad guy get the glowy box thing, and they save the world. What, babe? Oh, sorry. But yeah, that's basic. That's it for every superhero movie, right? Give or take. Little subtle details change here or there, but that's basically it. It's the execution of that. Yeah, as Russell said, the Snyder Cut came pre-spoiled. Here's the thing though, if you have not seen it, and this really shocked me. Now I went into it expecting this is going to be pre-spoiled because we've already seen it. I thought there's no way it was going to be decent. Because normally there have not been a lot of movies that I look at from Zack Snyder and went, oh, this was a fucking work of art. And I would not call this a work of art, but like seeing what the original cut of this Justice League was, it was like this was garbage. There's no way. Oh my God. It was like, there were points, and like I'm someone who's very picky about editing. I think there were places where they could have trimmed certain things down. Like it could have easily been 3 hours if they cut out the I could have done without the epilogue. I think there's an easy way they could have cut a half an hour worth of random shit out, but we're being self-indulgent with this director, and we all know that. You forgot the part about wearing underpants outside of your leotard. What am I? I feel like I'll wear underpants outside of my what. Anyways, but like it was way better if you've got HBO Max. It was enjoyable. It was way better. Like the development on it was incredible. The thing I did not, it's perfect description from Michael Franco. Complete new movie. Like the development on Cyborg. Now, if you remember any of the kerfuffle about it, the actor who played Cyborg had complained about Joss Whedon quite a bit. And like no matter what, when somebody complains about a director, there's going to be like a back and forth, and somebody saying, "Oh, he's just mad because his part got cut down a little, and that always happens," and blah blah. It wasn't cut down a little. It was like his part was like the central role of the movie. Like I'm looking forward to seeing a cyborg movie now. It was incredible how different it was. Like watching it, and I barely remembered the plot of the original of the 2017 Justice League because it was just not memorable. Like it was, I guess, offensively unmemorable is the best way to describe it. But that was it's. You see, Batman's mother was called Martha. Superman's adoptive mother was called Martha. My grandmother was called Martha. Is my dad a superhero? You know, we haven't ruled it out yet. What? Just go with it. Just go with it. But let's see. I'm looking up to see comments in here. See, I hated the length. Do Robert Vincent, I hated the length and the aspect ratio, but they gave Cyber a better story. Yeah, like it's the length. I'm looking at it when I watch it. I'm like, here are I want the Cybabe cut of the Snyder cut, and then I'll be happy with it. Did you hear they're putting out another version of this because Zack Snyder taking the saturation point down to like where you're like where everything looks like you occasionally see like a dusting of red was not desaturated enough. So now they're like, all right, we just have to go straight black and white. Just why not? But it's now this is a really good point too, Stephen. It was divided into 5 or 6 chapters. Now there were my husband made this point, and there were 2 directions that I would have loved to have seen with this. Now I feel it did a really good job of filling in backstories. Super with James Gunn, not yet. I'll check it out though. I appreciate the recommendation. It's now they had a it's like my husband said, they should have. It's not that they should have gone shorter; they should have gone longer and turned this into a mini series. And I thought that was actually a really good idea because there were other little things that I would have loved to have seen. Like I think the way that they executed Superman coming back, and he's just mad and shooting lasers out. And I get that was in the original too, but it's like mad shooting lasers out his eyes at things, and then he sees Lois and he's fine. Like, I don't know if I were a woman and I saw a superhero fucking up an entire city, I would be like, this man's about to be abusive. I'm going to run. I get it that but he's also he's crazy strong and he's blowing shit up. This is where I take I leave. So that was I was very like, and I know that was in the original too, but still, it was just, that was a weird idea for that. But yeah, as my husband says, it was not long enough. Now we could take that. There were certain things I could take, flesh out a little bit more, give us a little more backstory to things, cut it up into a 6-part miniseries so that we're not watching, like it's already 4 hours. That's the length of a 6-part, 45-minute long a piece miniseries. And you've got a good series there. Give Zack Snyder an editor who has some sense of pacing. Just a little, just consistent pacing, and I would be so much happier. Because it was a much better story. I felt like I got out of that, and like I had empathy for these characters. These characters had conversations this time. Like all the conversations before were these Joss Whedonized, like, oh, they're having kitschy conversations. Look at that. Aquaman thinks Wonder Woman's cute. Every conversation Wonder Woman has is about Steve Trevor, who's been dead for my God, no woman is still hung up on a guy from 70 years ago. She's Wonder Woman. She's had some dick since then. I'm sorry, but like getting rid of like some of the like deeply Whedon-y stuff and getting like, I was so happy that they got rid of like the Flash falling on top of her, like deeply cringe. But it's like there were moments where I was like, like I feel like they didn't fire all of their Chekhov's guns. Like that really bothered me. Like, if you saw it, and again, I said there were going to be spoilers, but how do you spoil a movie that came out in 2017? Anyways, there was a scene where Aquaman went back out into the ocean, and this trio of women sings this song while inhaling deeply into a sweater, and like I expected that to come back around to something, and it just hanging. Just here's a thread we left. Like it bothers me when threads are left, when the Chekhov's guns are left. Like you had something that you could have used. Did it get lost? Did somebody not like, I don't know. Like, and I understand that was probably something he wanted in there for mood, for pace, but it's like it felt like there was something else in that just they went, we don't have time for this. We're going to cut it out. But it felt deeper than what it was used for, and that bothered me. But yeah, overall, if you haven't checked it out, because you're it's angry young man. It's thanks for the Chekhov's gun rush. I'm a writer. It's it's that's something that like when I watch movies, I or when I'm reading something and I see little things placed throughout them, like my brain's always thinking, is that like that feels like something that should come back. And when I like if you reference something like there, like my thought on what I'm writing is this should always come back again. This should be relevant later. This should reveal something about the character. This should like it's everything you put should be relevant. Reveal like it's I don't like using fillery, cluttery bits in my writing. So if you put something in there, if you plunk a new piece of info in there, if you have a bunch of people singing at fucking Aquaman, why? Like if it's mood, I can understand that, but that mood just kind of seemed off from the rest of the movie, which is why I'm like, where's the rest of this? So, anyways, it was much better. Just 4 hours. They could have taken. They could have gone longer, which I know sounds crazy, but they could have gone longer, broken it up, or really easy ways. Just tighten up tiny bits of that editing. Like Zack Snyder never saw a sweeping shot of a bunch of superheroes in a line that he could resist. Like how many times it was just, all right, pan the kit, swing around. We're going to take a shot of this. And now you all stand there and hold and let your hair wave majestically. We're going to take that shot 6 more times and just, you just beat a bit, or you just had a battle. We're going to put another shot of that. Like we could go without it. And also I like when every single fucking time Diana was on screen, like, did it's I get it. He had to put his own stamp on the music and get rid of the do 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 do. Like I love the electric cello version of her theme song. Did we had to? Like is that what we had to do? It's it just because we can't not interrupt for good for good COVID news. Hi, say, baby. I know you're talking about movies, but I couldn't wait to come on and tell you I had my first COVID vaccine today. Yes, it's look. Every vaccine's a victory. There's never not a time to stop and celebrate a vaccination. So I keep seeing more and more people saying they got their second dose or that they're fully vaccinated now, and this makes me so. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to pause and do the quick and chat about that. So I'm very happy to hear that. It's life is happening again. But anyways, if you haven't taken if you haven't watched it yet and you have HBO Max, fucking check it. It's 4 hours. Just plan to take bathroom breaks, sit there with the pause. But like and my husband and I watched it like, just we watched it like, making jokes at it as we're going and having a good time. But you know what, at some point in the movie, I watched it, like I said, thinking it was going to be awful. At some point I stopped like making metaphorically throwing popcorn at the screen. And all of a sudden, like, I just got really deeply enraptured in it and realized, oh, this is actually pretty good. And I thought it was funny. I thought after I watched it, because it was so long, I'm like, I'm never fucking watching this again. I kind of want to watch it again, and I'm shocked by that. So anyways, there's my quick little, I know you guys totally come here for my thoughts on pop culture and movie. No, you don't. But yeah, it was surprisingly good, and I did not expect that because that's not my typical experience with DC or with Zack Snyder movies. And I feel I want to I give him I give you a fresh eye for your next movie, Zack Snyder. Don't fuck it up and make me take away any of your fresh starts for you. Anyways, I know I put for the description of this video, I'm gonna jump ahead to the last subject. The thing that's happening in a mere 4 days, I get my second vaccine. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be fully vaccinated very soon. We're getting there. It's my anti-COVID powers are activating. Like there are, it didn't. Mike Johnson said, "I know we're going to go back and forth between that and the Snyder Cut for a second. Let's see. It didn't feel like 4 hours, except the weird epilogue. It's funny. Like I know that when you have a PG-13 movie, and was this rated R? I don't. I think it was rated R, but like they had Batman say, "I'll fucking kill you," and like it was very strange to have like one F bomb. Like, I don't know. It's like the other day I wrote my one column that I've ever written without a swear, and there was only one point where I threw in an F, like I threw in one fuck. I gave nary a fuck. No, I gave precisely one fuck, and it felt weird having one fuck in there, and I'm like, it just doesn't seem to fit. Like, so it felt like it stuck out like a sore thumb, being like, look, see, he says this word. He said a swear. He's here. That stuck out to me quite a bit. But anyways, yeah, I'm back off that. I'm so yeah, just cut the epilogue out or down or make it. I get it. It was like, here are things that could happen. You want to give me more money to make movies? It's just major studios. Give monies. Give money. Give dollars. Make movies. So, anyways, I'm getting my next vaccine. Back to that, and I'm so fucking excited. Anyways, and as you guys know, plight of the house with 10 roommates. If you're new here, I live with 10 roommates. It's just a big old artist commune, and it's fucking lovely. And part of what's kept us sane through the pandemic has been living. It's being cooped up in a house with a lot of people sounds awful, or might sound awful, but having other humans around, oh my god, it's been amazing. Like, we put on, scroll back through if you want some Christmas music in fucking April, but we put on a little Christmas concert. We had all of our holidays felt like real holidays because we had a little makeshift family here, and we've all gotten to be much closer through the course of the year, and it's been really great. But finally, within the next few weeks, everyone in the house is getting their last vaccine. Like, by May 1st, everyone will be 2 weeks out from their last vaccine. And like, after, at this point, I believe we're about 80 some odd percent in the clear. Like, I want to say, please double check me. And again, if you're around a crowd of people that you don't know who they are, that you don't know their vaccines, if you're out in a crowd anywhere in public, keep a fucking mask on. Don't get stupid with this. But like, it's nice to know that we're at a point where about, the protection is thought to be about 85% effective. And just the last shot is just knock you straight up to 95%, which, oof. It's nice. It's nice to feel that this is back to life. Now, some people have said they're nervous about, how, what this means for the future, because they're hearing about, and we chatted about this a bit last week, that people have gotten sick after getting the vaccine. And we chatted about, some percentage of people are going to get sick after the vaccine because that's what not, they're 95% effective. They're not 100% effective. That means that there are going to be some cases which will be far less severe than they would have been without the vaccine. We're not going to see, we're likely not going to see hospitalizations, and we have not seen any fatalities in people who had COVID. So when you see people who get sick, a lot of them, if they're sick early on in the course of getting vaccinated, they likely were infected before they got vaccinated. If you see it later on, just please remember, if they got sick even with vaccines, they're, again, 95% effective means some people will get sick, and it would have been worse. It would have likely been far worse without the vaccine. So please don't freak out if you see those articles. Those articles are just because apparently we have all slow news days now. Media got really used to having so much news to cover every day during the Trump administration. So now they have to panic you every time somebody gets COVID with something that they know is not 100% effective. So anyways, don't panic about that stuff. But what I know I brought that up for a reason. Oh yeah. So here was the point, because people are still, in the wake of people getting COVID after being fully vaccinated, people are kind of, panicking. I see Gigo Raptor saying people are still popping into the Discord server during this live. Hello, everybody over on Discord. I hope you're having fun. I'll pop over to Discord after this, but I still have to finish writing the Daily MOS. Today, the Daily MOS is on the 21-gram experiment, which, I'll give you my thoughts on that when I post the Daily MOS. It'll be a good time. Anyway, so back to people getting COVID post-vaccine. Now, people are nervous about going back to life. Like, when do we let people into our homes unmasked? When do I take the mask off around anyone? And obviously you have to calibrate this according to your life, your I can't tell you individually what's right for your comfort level and your health. You have to make those decisions on your own. Please remember, I'm a scientist, but I'm also just a jackass on the internet who doesn't know you. Talk this, if you feel like you have any other questions, please chat it out with your doctor. All right, that's always what I want to tell you. That said, hold on. Mm. I'm totes gonna belch in like 4 seconds, but I think the straw will decrease the chances. I Gatorboy150 over on Twitch just said I kind of like being able to hide my face everywhere. Right? I dig that aspect of it. Like I'm probably gonna keep masking just like at the grocery store or like large places in public for a while, just because, man, not catching a cold just out in public. Whew, I'm not trying to attract attention when I go to the store. That's it's Ryan just asked, have you tried Coke Zero? I have, and no, it's broken Diet Coke. I'll drink it in a pinch, but like the thing I like about Diet Coke is that it doesn't taste like regular Coke, and Coke Zero tastes far too much like regular. It's Rich, you don't have to say sorry for being late. I'm glad you're here now. Anyways, Ryan just said I haven't had a single cold this season. Like I've had like minor little, I'm feeling under the weather for a day, and that's just I have a pre-existing condition, but I haven't had like oh fuck, I feel like I'm dying cold that knocks me out for a week. And normally every single year in like late September, early October, like since I've been running SciBabe, every year, and it's because of I told you a belch was coming. Every single year from end of September, beginning of October, I get a pretty knock me out cold, and it tends to be maybe this is the time of year I'm feeling run down. I'm traveling a lot for work, and just all of a sudden, here's your annual cold, Yvette. I haven't gotten that. Didn't get it last year. And it was kind of nice because after the main part of the cold goes away in like a bit under a week, I have this awful post nasal drip and cough for another 3 to 4 weeks. So it was hey, you can have your Coke Zero, Ryan. It's more for you. You keep yours. I keep mine. It's kind of like when I can't have gluten and people are like are have opinions about that. I'm like, look, that means there's more bread for you. This works out. I would love to have more. I would love to have the bread, but since I can't, you get to support the wheat farmers. It all works out beautifully. So, anyways, but yeah, no problem this year other than allergies. Yeah, like the other thing is I think I don't know if it's true or not, but I think wearing a mask might help cut down on the amount of allergens that go straight into your nose. Please double check on that though. Please still take your allergy medication. But yeah, I like the masks. I'm going to keep wearing them in public. But I think the question most people have isn't just, the public thing, or at least the people here know, y'all aren't the types that are like, I'm taking my mask off now. Why do I have to keep wearing this if I've been vaccinated? Fuck everyone. I don't think that's anyone here. I think the big question is, when can I have people over to my house? Because I'm nervous about all of these strains. Because this thing's mutating, and I've heard about people getting sick, and I don't know if they're getting sick because of the strains or if they're getting sick because of the vaccine. No, I'm not sure, and I need to know. So here is my what we're doing at my house, and I want to again. I'm not a doctor. I'm not your doctor. I don't know your health conditions. This is not medical advice. This is what we're doing socially based on our health conditions and based on my understanding of the virus. So we're all going to be vaccinated by the end of April. Our plan is that if we have friends that are likewise fully vaccinated, they're 2 weeks out from the last vaccine or a month out from their one shot of J&J, they can come into the house unmasked. If we have friends who are not vaccinated yet, or they've had just one shot, we can hang out with them outside. And that's just what we're going to start. Our house is going to be open in less than a month. I'm so excited. So yeah, 28 days and we get people over the house again. But that's what we're at. We're still, everyone in the house, masking up when we go out. And that just seems like the right decision for now, because even though the chances of getting one of the newer strains is much lower, it's the wise thing to do. It's also like, don't, like, even if I thought deep in my soul that there was no way I could catch this thing. Even if I had some sort of like, message sent from Jesus on a unicorn's back saying, "You will never get the COVID, my child." I wouldn't want to walk into a store and make somebody think like make someone look at me and think they're that asshole who just doesn't want to wear a mask. And I have, and I had really had to come here today, despite my chronic illness, despite my whatever. And I'm terrified that this person is the kind of jerk that just doesn't care about me. That and I'm fine covering my face. So I figure, as long as the CDC guidelines and maybe even after that, say, please fucking mask up in public. I'm going to keep on wearing at least a surgical mask out to the store and out to the mall. And, that doesn't seem to infringe on my right to fucking anything. Like, yeah, I'm getting a few more zits on my chin. I'll just keep doing chemical peels to the day I die. I'll be okay. So, anyways, that's where we're at here, and it's just the amount of joy in my house when we were discussing that, and it's like, oh, we got through this because beginning of this thing, I was of two minds because when it took a few months, like I thought, right, we were going to come down with it all right away. No one knew when it was going to hit or where, and I was sure with 10 of us in the house, we were all going to get sick. We basically exist like 9 households living together. It's me and my husband and then many other single people, and it's I was sure we were fucked, and everyone in the house for the most part was really really good about following the rules, and the few that weren't quite as careful, we got lucky, but it was shocking that I like at some point partway through the year, like a few months in, I realized, all right, we are getting through this. My goal at first was hopefully get it late enough in the year so that there will be good treatments in case we do. And then like when I got into a certain point, I'm like, I have not stayed home this long to just not to get COVID. Like I haven't been locked up in here for 6 months on end to just get a slightly less miserable case of this. So the fact that the fact that we made it to the end of this okay, number one, I get it. We're very, very lucky that many of us in the house had, I had types of work where we could work from home. I had the type of job where I can work from home. Several people in the house were able to collect unemployment. And I know that some people aren't able to collect because of the type of work they do. Like my husband still was able to work in a relatively small lab. I occasionally got had worked as a lab at the lab part time, in a small, in a very small environment of people. And here's the thing: even with that, like my husband almost had an exposure at work when somebody else in the lab, their wife was sick, and they, there was just a few days of overlap where they happened to not run into each other at work when the coworker was sick, and that's terrifying. These things are all kind of, like it's we got we got through it, but how many times was there like a just barely missed getting it? So it's nice to get through the end of this and think there might be an end in sight. So the faster we get, the punchline here is the faster we get everybody vaccinated, the more likely we are to limit the spread and limit the mutations whilst we're getting ready for the next booster of this, because we're definitely going to need boosters in the next few years, probably to either to whether it's for mutating strains, to whatever the shape of the spike protein is in 3 years from now, we're going to have to change for that, or whether our titers, or whether the immunity wanes over time, we are going to need boosters for this. More than likely is what I'm gonna say. I'll be surprised if we're not all lining up again for our vaccines in max 5 years. That is my guess, and I'll be happy to line up for this every year with my flu shot if I have to. I'll do it. But yeah, that's my thought on it. We're all going to have to keep on getting these, which, if I have to get one every year so that I don't have to risk ever, dying, drowning in my own lungs alone in an OR somewhere, yeah, I'll take that shot every goddamn year. I'll take 2 of them every year. I'll take one in the eyeball once a month. Maybe not the eye. maybe once a year, but not once a month. Anyways, but that's where we're going to see why. Would we need Geekoraptor asking? Would we have needed boosters if people actually did what they needed to nip this in the bud? Likely, we like now. This is all speculation. I like to be clear what I'm speculating. I don't, a lot of my answers here are speculative because obviously. Now, here's the thing with boosters. Even if on day one we'd gotten this, like everyone had quote done what they had to, or say this had gotten out of like the likelihood of this having stayed in China originally was just so low because we didn't know what we were dealing with. The asymptomatic spread really made this such a monster that there was no way it wasn't going to spread. We were if you could have designed a virus to really fuck us up in a global economy, in a very connected world, that COVID would be it. Just want to clarify, I'm not saying this virus was designed. This virus came from likely a bat that was just coronaviruses live in bats. There are fucking zillions of them. We happen to get this one. Anyways. But the thing about this virus, it likely would have left China when it did, and gotten around the world. It likely would have kept mutating. A bunch of places were not going to get their shit. I see you with that. It was made in a lab, and I see that. Don't you dare. But it was going to keep mutating. It was going to keep getting, it's going to change over the course of years, and we're going to keep. We're going to keep needing vaccines for it. Now, early on, we're not sure how it's going to mutate, and when I say how, I mean in what direction. Is it going to become more virulent, as in more contagious? Is it going to become less dangerous? Now, there's some evidence to suggest, and I wrote about this, I believe this last week, that the Russian pandemic, or the Russian quote flu pandemic of 1890 was another coronavirus, a coronavirus that was OC43 that is now one of the 4 endemic coronaviruses. Now, they think that basically over the course of about 5 years of it circulating and there being waves of fatalities and, waves of being less bad, and basically each winter it got way worse and then went away. After about 5 years, it stopped causing fatalities. It seemed to just go away. And we're not sure if there were spikes of it again where people, mistook it for the flu or whatnot. But it's also unclear if it was a coronavirus. But the symptoms, when you read up on it, see, like they don't somehow from this, this is like the last major pandemic that we don't have any tissues from a single victim, I guess, to test to see if it was a flu or coronavirus. But there's it's go read my it's over on SciBabe.com, the plague on the Russian plague of 1518, but not 1518, the Russian, there was a dancing plague of 1518. This is the Russian flu, the Russian quote flu of 1890. But it's one of the weird things about it was it had many more things in common with our modern coronaviruses than it did the flu viruses back in the day, because the flu viruses tended to hit young people much in a much more harsh manner. Now, I did read a theory that someone sent over that the reason the 1918 flu virus hit so hard was possibly an immune system complication due to people being hit so hard by a couple of previous flu pandemics, one of them possibly being the pandemic of 1890. But there were also a couple other known, and from what I understand, established flu pandemics after 1890. But as you guys saw, the image that I posted talking about the Russian flu pandemic of 1890, and I'm sorry that it's called the Russian flu pandemic. It's just we've changed the way we name things now, and likely it would have been called something much different then or now if it was found then. But that's just what it's anyways. But the descriptions of it were interesting because it seemed that it caused a dry pneumonia. The people that were more likely to have severe or fatal cases were generally much older or sicker. It didn't seem to have the same effect in young people, much like this COVID. It also seemed to come with neurological effects, which we don't see anywhere near as much of with the flu. It also seemed to be a precursor for MS, which again, similar to OC43. I want to double check on that one, but that was one of the things that I read. And it was one of the things in the article that screamed COVID was after effects worse than disease. I'm like, whew, that seems similar. And also it birthed a ton of conspiracy theories. One of my favorite ones was that people were like, electric light causes pandemic. I'm like, this is like the early version of 5G causes COVID. Like, it's just, there's always been conspiracy theory type shit. But here's the thing, like, I look at that and go, this could be a good sign in a way. Because we look at this and it's terrifying that it might take 5 years for this to evolve into something that's not scary, that's not deadly at all anymore, that our population's kind of like that if we get sick with, we're just that nobody will, there will be no fatalities. It's just going to evolve into a cold. And that's basically what other, the endemic coronaviruses are now. They're just colds. It's possible that this will take that exact same thing. Like, it's, flu viruses when they first were, there were a couple of flu viruses before the 1918 pandemic that were much less severe. And 1918 really turned it into, holy fuck, this flu virus is out to kill us. And then most flu pandemics since then have been nowhere near as bad. And it's kind of the same thing with coronaviruses. We suspect that, the four endemic ones likely caused pandemics too, and then evolved into something less bad as humans developed some immunity to them. Like, some people died off, some people got some immunity that every time they encountered it, the disease kind of, was easier. And people, if you get it when you're young, it tends to give you a kind of immunity that you get sticks and builds with you through your lifetime. So it's there are the point. So I have 2 points to that. One, I think that the population as a whole is going to build some immunity through a combination of the vaccines that we're getting regularly and through people getting sick with it, and it's going to cause the virus to mutate. So two, we will need boosters because the virus is mutating, though it doesn't mutate as fast as the flu. From what I understand, it mutates about a third as fast as the flu. So it depends on how dissimilar the new strains are from the last version of it that's in the previous vaccine to the version that's hurting people currently, how virulent it is, how sick it makes people, how often they'll be giving these boosters. So yeah, there'll likely be boosters. I don't know how long apart they'll be, or if the reasoning is going to be virulence, mutations, or squirrels. So I hope that answers the question. I hope that was well enough fleshed out. But that's about where I am on what's going to happen with boosters. But likely we will need them. To scroll in, I see people poking with sticks, and I think this is are we having throwbacks to Discord? If any of you guys aren't on the Discord server, like there's a link in one of my last posts on the Facebook page. You guys should all join the Discord server. If you go over Russell and Akiko, will make sure you get your Muppet avatar, or they'll just tell you pick your Muppet avatar. Like, you all have your soul Muppet first. Order Muppet or Chaos Muppet, and then you'll go from there. You'll find your Muppet. I still have not decided who my soul Muppet is. That's very difficult. I feel it's either Bunsen or Beaker, and I'm not there yet. So, anyways, I was saying that the trend of noses over masks was was a thing in 1980. Yeah, of course it was. There was also the Anti-Mask League in 1918. Like, that was that's the don't tread on my freedom. People every time there's been someone saying, hey, there's a minor thing you can do to make everyone's life easier and safer, and that's all you gotta do to unfuck things. There's someone screaming, but my freedom, and that's just how that works. Hold on a second, just checking hold on a quick second. having a look at something? I'll be there in a sec. I was trying to scroll to find something. That's the thing I can't find, so that didn't work out. Anyhow. But yeah, it seems that every time there's a pandemic, it's just vaccine misinformation goes straight along with it. Because how dare we inconvenience ourselves even slightly to reduce the chances of other people getting sick? I do what I can to increase the sanity. I don't know how much it helps. No, no matter what, and I mean, here's like I'm not the first one to say this. I'm paraphrasing other people who do research on conspiracy theories and whatnot. But basically, whenever something happens that's this effing crazy, because let's admit it, there's, even though it's natural, even though they happen just throughout history all the time, like this is something like the COVID pandemic is as normal a thing and as natural a thing that could possibly happen. But to us, having to stay, the things that we have to do to survive it seems so crazy and so difficult that we have to find big answers to it. Like, it can't just be a virus, it has to be a this, and they're telling us to do that because, oh my God, the control and the globalists. Ever you hear someone say globalists, like, just stop taking them seriously. Just immediately just listen to that dog whistle. Anyways, but like, there's always a drive when something big and crazy and scary happens to find an alternative explanation, because it just doesn't seem like the world that could possibly have done something this fucked up. And that's the thing that we don't realize, is that the world does things this fucked up all the time. You're on this part of the timeline, right? This is the part of the timeline you're living on. There were tons of other parts of the timeline where, when people were living on that, they're like, I'm living in the modern age. People thought that about themselves when they were living in the 1500s. Like studying science has given me this interesting, or studying the history of science for all these columns has given me this interesting perspective, like, where people, when they're going through scientific discovery, like, every time someone discovered something new that, 100 years later, we're like, wow, that was barbaric and wrong. Like, they thought they were in the modern age, at the precipice of the newest thing that everyone was going to know forever to be a fact. And that's, that's still happening, and it's going to continue to happen. But every single time there's a pandemic, people are going to react the same way, with a combination of fear, with a combination of trying to, to explain it through anything other than what just happened, because how could nature have done this to us? It's always happened. It's gonna keep happening. So, like, that's what's happening, is that there's just, people are going to be scared, and they want to know why this world would do this to them. So it's the best thing we can possibly do is try to have really hard conversations with people that we love about this. Somebody just asked, all right, you asked about what a globalist is. I'm going to be blunt about this. Globalist is a term that, how to phrase this delicately, that racists and anti-Semites use to cover up that they're talking about Jewish conspiracies. Like, if you see or hear somebody talking about the globalist agenda, what they're and I say this as a Jew, what they mean is Jews. Hope I could clear that up. Just every time you hear someone say globalist, like just like, especially if it's a really big douchebag YouTuber, like someone who's going on about it's like someone who plays devil's advocate a lot, or says, I was just saying, like, exactly who I'm talking about. But yeah, the if someone uses the term globalist a lot, they're not talking about people who want global trade. They don't know what trade policies are at all. They're talking about Jews. Hope I could clarify that for you. So now that you know that. If you didn't know, oh, same thing. Robert Kurtman said, same with New World Order. Yeah, those are some big, like those are just some big old tell it's I see you saying, so what does it mean when I call myself a globalist, Akiko? um that perhaps there's a better vocabulary word for what you're trying to say, but I could be wrong. So let's chat about it in Discord. But I think people are. I think because the term has been tainted by the way that it's used in cloaked language. Here's a perfect example. Thank you, Ryan. It's Alex Jones goes on and on about the globalist agenda. Like people on in that kind of group, they bitch about globalists an awful lot, and it's like words like if you go back through the history of anti-Semitism in this country. Oh, thank you. I was about to say the exact thing, Robert Gerfman. Words like globalist and cosmopolitan have long been used for, and of course, elites have long been used to dog whistle that shit out on how much they hate the Jews. So that's those are some things that you find out about when you're bumping along the shittier parts of the internet. So anyways, there's some info, but yeah, Alex Jones will not shut the fuck up about it. Let's see, global multiculturalist. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's figure out a term for what you're trying to say that doesn't accidentally sound like that doesn't use the same word that these people are using to mean something way different. Because the number that it's yeah the see, globalist is already here. Need proof? Was anyone following the news on the ship stuck in Suez? Global trade policies are the world policies, and you know what? They work. The right-wing conspiracy theorists, morons, really. Yeah, and here's the thing. The fact that globalist has become insult meaning Jews are bad. It's just very strange. Whatever happened to live and let live? Did we ever really? I don't think we ever lived and let lived. I think we put that on a T-shirt and in music's lyrics, and that's what happened to it. It was a good slogan, and nobody in politics or power who could ever actually do anything with it ever did anything with it, which makes me very sad. I see Geeko Raptor saying, "I still vote for voice chat with Cybabe." Is this a vote for Discord for this? Because I could be convinced, just not tonight. As you can tell, like if I start up a stream being like, we're going to talk about a 4-hour remake of a movie, then I'm clearly not. It's just, look, I did not plan to wake up yesterday on very few hours of sleep, do my, hey, I'm kind of awake, I'm going to check my phone, and then find out I'd been banned. And my brain has not recovered from that since. And it's like, I want to be clear. It's not that I feel like I am this, special flower that should never be banned, because I can obviously, I obviously should be as subject to the fuckery as everyone else. Is that I make my living via access to my audience, right? And you guys, most of you, except for those of you who have signed up for Patreon, link below, sign up, you get extra content and extended blog entries, and you get all the extra stuff that was on the cutting room floor, and you get two extra live streams a month. Anyways, it's like the cost of like a coffee and a muffin a month. I'm worth it. I'm totally worth it. At least my mom says I am. Anyways, but I basically make a living by being able to talk to the biggest portion of my audience over on Facebook. And without that, I'm fucked. So seeing that I was banned for 3 days and knowing that this is the first longer ban that I had, I'm like, oh, they're making these punishments worse for nothing, for something that was just like all this was a post about vaccines that got caught in either the algorithm or in mass reporting. And it was already up to 3 days. The next one will likely be 7 days. The next one might be 10. The next one's going to be 30. And again, I'm really lucky that a couple of Facebook employees follow me, but it's really stressful to wake up in the morning and see that the way that you interact with your followers is gone for 10% of your month. That's not okay, and it was a little terrifying. So that was I think that just threw me off for the rest of the week. So that was that was fun. I'll get back to feeling human. Like I don't know. There's something weird about knowing the ground can just be pulled out from under your feet like that, which is why I'm glad so many of you guys signed up for Patreon, because it's nice to know that you guys will follow me over onto another platform and help keep the pirate ship afloat. Um, it's good, helpful, and it makes me want to keep writing these. It makes me want to make them better too. I mean, not that they're bad, but it makes me always want to like up my game a little. Um, Scrolling through the paradox of tolerance. Oh, I just want to see what that was what that was a response to. But I do enjoy the paradox of tolerance. Oh yeah, let's chat about that one. Yeah, the quote paradox of tolerance. Like whenever I do love getting into arguments with someone on the far right, or it's you point out that somebody who has just a legitimately fucking shitty opinion has a legitimately fucking shitty opinion, and they're like, and the answer is so much for the tolerant left. I think tolerance is not the word that I want to use for most of the things that they're trying to apply it to. Because most of the time we try to talk about quote tolerance for people who are different than us, and I don't want to call quote gay people quote different than us, because I am the B in the LGBT, and I have family members and loved ones who are all across the LGBTQIA group, and I don't want to be tolerated. I want me and everyone else in who's LGBTQIA. I want to be accepted and loved, and you don't have to to do that. You don't have to sit there and think about the way that the sex happens. You don't have to sit there and think about the genetics. You just have to go, oh, that's okay, that's fine. We're going to sit here and be two humans just like we were 5 minutes ago before I knew that information. I'm glad for you. That's cool. Let's go back to where it's like that's a part of your life, and that's let's make sure that you've got everything you need, and that people aren't dicks to you about it. Like I think people confuse accept and tolerate. Now, I don't think you like I think there's this big, actually no, I think people deliberately misinterpret what it means. So much for the tolerant. Really? Like you guys, they understand what tolerance means here, and they understand why people think they suck. They absolutely understand why there's this perception that what they understand exactly why nobody wants to hear from them. It's not like it's not like they're being told we don't want to hear from you because we disagree with them on taxation rates. We don't want to hear from them because they're like, maybe we should use conversion therapy. I don't know. Maybe it's like there are some of them that are like that you get deep enough into their YouTubes, and like eventually they bring up like it's a little bit horrifying what these people are onto, and they're like, I just want free speech. I'm like, yeah, I want you to have free speech too. I also want you to deal with the fact that sometimes speech has consequences, motherfucker. So yeah, I've got a lot of tolerance. And when I say tolerance, I mean I tolerate a lot from the comment sections. I get plenty of hate. I get plenty of douchebags. But you know what? I have acceptance and love for people who deserve it, and I'm not going to tolerate people who are hateful bigots just because they think they have a gotcha question when they say, you want us to be tolerant, because I don't want you to be tolerant. I want you to get the fuck out if you can't accept and love people for being different than you. And if that's your game, just I don't want you in my life. So there's my little ramble about that. We want equity. We want equality. We want equity. We want people to not be dicks. That's just why the rule here is don't be a dick. So, anyways, I'm yeah. I see far too much. So much for the tolerant left. Oh, you misunderstand us. And by which I mean they don't misunderstand us. They purposefully do. And what's funny, I'm just reading this: freedom of speech is not the only liberty. It's also a right to security, right to stop somebody else's right to start. You know what's funny about the freedom and all of the amendments? And I'm just thinking about jumping off to the Second Amendment from here, amendments literally, like, I think there are a lot of people who look at them and go, these are just ingrained in in the constant, like, this is set in stone and can't change. They're like, you can't take away my gun rights. So I think these people don't understand what an amendment is, because amend means to change. And like, we've added amendments in and then added other amendments later that undid those amendments. I don't know if you've heard of this thing called prohibition, but that happened via an amendment. And then another amendment a few years later was like, guys, we fucking oops the shit out of this one. Also, booze is delicious. So I'm not necessarily saying to get rid of the Second Amendment, except that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if something's a right, you shouldn't have to spend money to exercise that right. And that's what the Second Amendment is you have the right to spend money on a thing, which seems kind of weird. But also, this is what bothers me about this, and it's a linguistic thing, because the word arms comes from armaments, not firearms. Firearms is derived from armaments as well. And like, we can go into what well-regulated militia, all that good stuff means, and I'm pretty sure this should have been applied to just militias, not people who just wanted a fucking arsenal in their basement. But the term comes from armaments. Everything from a 22 caliber, from a tiny little gun, all the way up to a tank is an armament. We don't let people have tanks. There's you can draw a line and make rules about which armaments are allowed without it infringing on people's rights. But can I or can I not own a cannon? I'm not sure what the rules are on cannon ownership. Maybe the NRA is allowing that now. You might need to chase off a prowler that can't. My God. But yeah, that's them be the rules. As written in the Bill of Rights is armaments. It's like I said, right to bear arms. It's derived from armaments. Means any fucking thing you can use to hurl projectiles, basically, and fuck up someone's life. Tank is an armament. So yeah. Well, it's yeah. We can. I'm not necessarily saying to get rid of it, but I'm saying the Second Amendment can be amended. We're not so far gone that we can't go back to what the NRA wanted in the when in the 1980s. They were yeah. So there's my ramble on that. But anyways, just what I somehow got off from First Amendment stuff. Whew. Anyways, trebuchets are fun. I have not played with the trebuchet. I was not aware of that. Let's see. Being Canadian, I sometimes forget how the USA can be fucked up with the Constitution and how most don't understand it. Just putting that on the screen. Yeah, it's like I'm not sure what causes this failure, but I'm going to guess it's education. Severe lack of education, because like, everyone has a certain number of years of history class they have to take in high school, and you would hope that they teach the Constitution, at least some parts of it, at these high schools, because I remember doing units on the Constitution in junior high and high school, and maybe it's just I have a good memory, but oh shit, Ryan just checked and we can own cannons. Well, fuck. That seems not good that we can own cannons. Of course, I'm going to go check out how I can get myself a cannon after this. Anyways, but it's interesting that, like, the willful misunderstanding of the Constitution, I think, is what amuses me more than anything else. And by amuses, I mean terrifies. But like you just said, time to get Andrew Seidel Esquire back on the stream. You know what? I'll ask him if he can come on for Sunday, and if he can't, I'll ask him if he can come on for Friday. But yeah, I'll get Andrew back on here again. But yeah, it's whenever you get into a conversation with one of these free speech advocates about the First Amendment, like, it automatically goes to something that has nothing to do with the First Amendment. It's a giant company not allowing you to use the platform. But like, I'll hear people say something like, well, this is kind of First Amendment-y. The problem with that is the First Amendment has absolutely nothing. I'm going to say this again. The First Amendment has absolutely nothing to do with individual businesses or individual people telling you what you can and cannot say or do with relations to their property, their business, their chat rooms, their Facebook walls, their whatever. Because of one simple reason. It doesn't matter how much power they have. It doesn't matter how big their platform is. It doesn't matter if they're a publisher or a platform. It doesn't matter what the reason is. The reason that they're that the First Amendment does not apply here is that these entities are not the government. Okay, you can say, oh, they work with. They are not they're not the government. As soon as it's the government telling you what you can and can't say and suppressing speech, then it's a First Amendment violation. If it's the government saying you're not allowed to say fuck on television, and this is why I hate the FCC. The FCC is just, how are they even allowed to goddamn operate? This is just wrong. But they do some good things, but the whole hey, we're allowed to just tell you which swear words are up and anyway. But yeah, there are people who will start arguing that the way Facebook's running X, Y, or Z, or the way they're Twitter's taking people off their platform, it's a total you can't be sort of breaking the First Amendment if you're anything other than a government entity. It's literally written so that the government can't tell people what they can and can't say. Because even if it sucks, if Facebook tomorrow, for no apparent reason, decides to take me off of it, I would be pretty mad. I'd be really fucking mad. But also, they're a private company, and that would be their decision. That's just part of it, them being a private company. They're not the government. They're not shutting down. If Facebook was a government run entity, which I wouldn't want it to be, especially because the government can change hands and it could be under presidents and congresses and whatnot that would not appreciate my point of views on things. It might be safer not as a government entity. I'm just saying, because look at how crazy far to the right and what they let people get away with when there were Republicans in power while they were a private company. So just saying, them being private means that they can get rid of your shit on their platform when they feel like, and it is not, nor has it ever been, nor will it ever be, a violation of your First Amendment rights. It's a consequence of being an asshole. It's a total fucking consequence of being an asshole. So that's just something I want to leave you with, because I get there are arguments that this is the new town square. There are and everyone should have access to the digital town square. Nah, people are allowed to think you're such a dick that you don't get to be in the town square either. The other thing is, this is not a town square. It's a private platform. Also, the thing that I love, if you guys have heard, you guys might have heard of a tiny website called Parler, who claims that they claim that they don't censor anything. They do. They censor. They ban. It's just they just don't ban the right wing opinions. There's nobody on I know people who went in there and occasionally tried to argue back with somebody who was spouting pure bullshit. They got banned. They of course bans people over there, and everyone knows. It's a thing where they can claim, yeah, we're totally free speech. No, they're a platform bought and paid for by people who wanted to promote and allow right wing alleged terrorists to allegedly cause an insurrection. So I'm not saying how Facebook moderates is good. It's obviously not. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any platform on the planet for people who have different views from me to set up, because I love that they have another platform. It makes the one that I'm on so much better when I don't have to see it. But I also, I also don't understand how these people who claim that they jerk off to the Constitution haven't read it. Maybe the lube smudged it or something. So there's my there's my ramble on that, and I realize we're past time for this. I couldn't let you down. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Indeed, I just saw Ryan Blackhawk commenting that the Mercers funded it. Yeah, finding out that the Mercers funded it was just like, that's one of those like evil. It's like, how fucking evil could this company be? Really goddamn evil. Like, there's every weird connection possible to this company, and it's just it's amazing how much crazy data that one hacker. I believe one fairly young hacker got off of there after after the Capitol attacks. It was pretty amazing to see how bad their I guess their architecture was, their IT architecture was, if they were able to get so much information off of it. I say that like I know any fucking thing about data collection and data scraping, but the fact that so much information, that everyone's videos and locations and all of it was able to just be from the website. Oh man, was that fun? Anyways, you know, I enjoyed the cycle on the day of the insurrection of everyone being like, I'm going to the Capitol, we're breaching the White House, selfie with me and the cops. This was Antifa. Anyways, glad I could get some of that off my chest. But I've noticed something since Biden's been in office. I'm far less, like, I haven't been that stressed about politics for a few weeks. Like, I say that, and there's still a ton of shit going wrong. Like, it's children are still in cages. It's just the cages had a minor makeover. And this is something that Biden still needs to have his feet held to the fucking fire on. It's been a little bit of a disappointment where he was like, we're going to push back on a $15 minimum wage, because how dare we pay people a not even close, it's not even a living wage, but it's closer, but we can't do closer. Like, there have been, I say, like, it's like, and also we have to start bombing places again. Neoliberalism, cheers. But it's been a combination of, holy shit, this is so much better, and we gotta keep pressing forward. Oh my god, I saw that there was that there was an attack, and that there was a car that rammed into a thing today in the Capitol, but I did not see that there was someone killed. Was there, like, I saw one tweet that said there might have been a shooting, and I'm not sure how bad that was, but it kind of terrifies me that we have people in Congress like Lauren Boebert, who, and I'm not saying this to pick on people who just got their GED, because I'm really glad that you did something to better yourself, but it's a little terrifying that we have a member of Congress whose education level is just got my GED and thinks she knows enough about government policy to run it while running around, complaining about having to go through a metal detector in the room full of the country's lawmakers. So it's a little terrifying. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, did you guys see the video of her crossfitting? There's a video of her doing a bunch of CrossFit pull-ups and push-ups with just the worst form ever. And she's like, this is my COVID vaccine. And it's like, look, as much as I think Sarah Palin is a bad person, I'm not even gonna, she's a bad person. She's a really bad, it's Ryan Blackhawk, GED. Yeah, she got her GED while she was running for Congress. Like, that's what while she was running for Congress. Anyways, but like, Marjorie Taylor Greene did, put a video out of her, doing a bunch of CrossFit and said, this is my COVID vaccine. Sarah Palin, who I'm not a fan of. She's obviously, I think that Sarah Palin she paved the way for a clown like Trump. Like, the way was paved for Trump back in the 80s thanks to Reagan, but that's another story for another day. But like, she really made the acceptance of Sarah Palin made it clear that we would eventually accept a Trump. Pardon me. But Palin, I give her respect for this. As someone who has run a few marathons, there, if you haven't run one, continue to not run one. It's a bad idea. Half marathons are okay, but like, just I, I'm glad I did it. Kind of. Don't do it again. Anyways, but Sarah Palin ran a sub 4 hour marathon in fucking Alaska. For everything I disagree with her on and think that she, needs something. I don't know. There's something wrong upstairs. I respect the fact that she did that much, but that's difficult. That's fucking hard. She did a hard thing, and I applaud the plight of anyone who puts themselves through that much effort, especially in goddamn Alaska. That's difficult. Anyways, I have a I. But here's the thing. So she was in really good shape. She's someone who likely still works out quite a bit. She got COVID, and look, she was still being one of those, I don't have to wear a mask anywhere. And so she obviously, is probably doing some slightly reckless behavior, I would guess. And as soon as she got it, and she got it probably because of reckless behavior, she was in good shape. She got it, and now she's telling people, please wear masks, please vaccinate. So, like, I don't see how people can. Let me rephrase this. I know exactly why people keep saying, "Oh, I'm going to be fine. I can just do CrossFit and be fine," because they don't think it's going to happen to them, because they're brainwashed at this point. But like, why can't you look at people in your own party who are very clearly like on your team who this has happened to, and maybe go, "Oh, this is for real. I should think a little more clearly about this." Like, I don't. There are people in politics who the word hate might be appropriate for. I don't hate Sarah Palin. I think she sucks. I think she needs to get her act together. I think that she's, with the amount of influence that she has, she could use it to do such better things, and she never will, which is sad. But I don't. When I saw that she had COVID, my first thought was just, well, she's probably in some pain. Darn. But like, unlike some of the other people who got it, I wasn't like, I really hope it hurts. Like, it was just like, whatever, she's a non-entity. This it's bad. But yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene seems like the type of person who will get it, not tell anyone, keep showing up to work unmasked and breathe in everyone's face. She's terrifying, and she's an elected congresswoman. So I'm horrified by the whole fucking thing, and I'm horrified by the fact that these are people elected to try to write laws, hopefully laws that would keep them and their children safe, make good decisions when there are major upsets in the country, and instead a bunch of them who people, like I said, they elected their officials because these are the people they trusted to represent their states. This is what happens to them, and it's not fair. What also is sad is that people elected them knowing that these were their positions, wanting this, and it's also said that in a lot of cases there are definitely more people in any given state that want people of a different political persuasion and don't get them in because of gerrymandering and voter suppression. Like, and we'll get to voter suppression laws in Georgia on another day, because I just don't have it in my head after reading a long article about the 80 some odd various voter suppression laws that they've tried to pass in the last year or so. Man, life is exhausting right now. But anyways, I'm gonna start to wrap this up. And first, I want to, hey buddy, hey. I also just realized that I'm missing one ear partway through this, so this is just, well, we gotta fix this. It would be, I can't do a whole thing without an ear. Much better. So how could I let that happen? But just gonna sneak a little science dog over. Hey, Sci Dog, what do you want to say to the people? Nose polish. He says you should sign up for Patreon so that you can get extended blog entries every day of the week, and that you can get 2 extra live streams a month, also so that you can help pay for his vaccines. He needs all the vaccine. He's a very pro-vaccine dog. Anyways, see, CrossFit is a fad. I love this. CrossFit is a fad pseudoscience exercise program that sets you up for injury. No one exercise professional will support it. Even the founder came out and said he created it as a joke. People are, I know some people who have gotten into CrossFit who it's gotten into really good health. They've been fine, but also there was a great analysis I saw of it. This was the funniest joke I saw. CrossFit will teach you the right way to lift weights incorrectly. Teach the right way to do it wrong. Like, I've never seen people lift things in CrossFit in a way that makes me think, oh, that's safe. Fitness professionals I know look at it and go, and are kind of horrified at the way that they're doing things to the body. Like that, nothing seems safe in the way that they approach I fear for people's shoulders whenever I see them do some of the pull-up things that they do. Like, yeah, they're getting strong. They're doing some things that are highly challenging and probably great for their muscles, but also no other workout program have I heard of giving more people rhabdomyolysis than CrossFit, which is it's just a thing that happens when your muscles start to basically break down from being worked so hard. I could be mischaracterizing that. I apologize. Feel free to correct and or look it up. DLBL, yes, I would love a book recommendation. I have a couple of Audible credits right now that I'm looking for something else to add to the queue. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up in a second, but I want to see if I can grab like one more question. So if you guys throw down an AMA type question, and I'm going to grab the first one that tickles my fancy, and then we're going to call it a day. So, I have Kelly just said I had a friend who had so many injuries since she did CrossFit. To be fair, I had so many injuries from running, and running is just putting one foot in front of the other, and I could still fuck myself up from that. Geeko Raptor said the Bible. Sorry, I don't think the Bible is a question. There is 0 individual training programs. They use internal and heavyweights. There's a complete no in exercise. You will get stronger as you were doing something different, but it's not. Yeah, that sounds like the long and short of CrossFit. Like here's the thing. I don't ever want to do group fitness classes are not for me. Like the only thing I ever like doing as a group is rock climbing, and it's because it's not a fitness class. It's you and a bunch of friends getting drunk and throwing yourself against a wall, which is, that's exercise. But let's see. It's called Jews Don't Count by David Battiel. Oh, I'll check that one out for sure. It's about a weird phenomenon surrounding how Jews aren't counted as an ethnic minority. It's weird because it's like I never know what you call it. Like that's one of those weird things where I don't know if we're an ethnic minority or not, because like I'm very clearly, like by any definition of it, at least in America, like no one would look at me and think anything other than white. And there were 100 years ago, Jews weren't considered white. Like the definition of whiteness and who that's extended to changes over time. But I also don't look at myself in the mirror and think, oh, I'm clearly biracial. No. And it's like, race is different than ethnicity. And it's like, it's weird because like I'm obviously not a practicing Jew. I'm obviously an atheist, as I've said. It's on here before. I see someone saying we don't even agree amongst ourselves. Yeah, like it's hard to figure out if Judaism is, it's not just a religion, obviously, because there are a bunch of us who test our DNA and we're Sephardic or Ashkenazi, in my case, Ashkenazi, Eastern European Jewish. And it's like where it's obviously a genetic thing too. It's obviously it's just, I don't know how to define it. Like I know there are some people who are not Jewish who definitely define it as a race, and it's partially an attempt to say that we're subhuman, which is terrifying, isn't it? I don't even know what to say to that. But I'm not. I'm not sure if it's a separate race. I don't know. It's, you know what? We're just. It feels, yeah, I'll definitely check out the book. That sounds like an interesting one. I'm going to take a screen cap so we do not forget this later. But Suresh, wait, did I miss the Snyder Cut part of the stream? Very beginning of it. Go back. I promise you, Lindsay Ellis in-depth style analysis. No, definitely not Lindsay Ellis in style depth analysis. Ellis. Oh, just a side note: if you guys saw the attempted cancellation of Lindsay Ellis this week, oh my god. I think it was this week or last week. Yeah, there was a 3-second attempted cancellation of Lindsay Ellis after but and I think it's by the same people who like hate her for not. It's if you guys like a handful of my favorite YouTubers are Lindsay Ellis, ContraPoints, Philosophy Tube. It's and of course H Bomber Guy. And of course, there's another, there's like a constellation of people around that group. Oh, and Jim Sterling. And it was like Lindsay Ellis had tweeted one errant tweet that people just got very, very mad at. And of course, tried to go through her Twitter history and prove that she was a terrible person. And it seemed like the same group of people that were really mad that she hadn't disavowed Natalie Wynn of ContraPoints ages ago. And it's like, well, I see things like this, and I'm like, truly, one day, if it's possible for people to cancel or try to cancel Lindsay Ellis for this, my cancellation is nigh. It is coming. It is upon us one day. So, but I will between the amount of times I get banned for posting factual articles about vaccines and the occasional time that I say fuck, I might get in trouble one day. I don't know. Anyways, but that was, if you saw that was interesting and shocking and horrifying. And I'm sad that Lindsay ended up deleting her Twitter. So, because she's one of the bright lights on the internet. So I see, Bill said, we're all one race, just different ethnicities. Like, I never know what to, like, I don't know. You know what? I show up and I'm me and I'm Jewish, and I hope that whatever that means to another person, they treat me nicely, and whatever from wherever you're from and whatever color, ethnicity, religious affiliation you are, I'm going to treat you nicely too. And I think that's how people should operate. And unfortunately, people are dickbags about it, so we have to keep having these conversations now, don't we? Anyways, so that got off on a. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll back up and try to find a happier note to end on, because I saw a couple other AMA questions, and this one. Someone just asked what my favorite color is. There. Throw a few A. I want to end this on a happy note before I go and finish writing about the experiment where a guy tried to figure out how much the human soul weighed. 21 grams allegedly. Someone asked what my favorite color is. Generally red. I bought a red car because I bought the only red Corolla that they had on the lot, and I didn't check enough factors about it. And this was back in December of 2008, and it was a 2009 car, and I was so excited because I'm like, it's a brand new car. This is going to be great. Somehow I got the only 2009 on the planet that did not have automatic doors and windows, but it was red, so it was not fine. I'm still very annoyed about not having automatic windows. The automatic doors I can deal without, but not automatic windows. No. Oh, happy note. Godzilla vs. Kong was amazing. Concur. Watched that one last night with my husband. Highly, highly recommend. Definitely recommend the Godzilla vs. Kong. Tell me why the tattoo is smudged. It's not that's just how the tattoo. That's how we did it. There's no good reason behind it. That is why the tattoo it's looked as it did, it looks as it does, because that's how we requested it. I just see this comment about Dr. Susie Wiles. We're giving a round of applause for my friend Dr. Susie Wiles. So many moons ago, my first year, when anyone knew who the fuck I was, I went out to Australia for National Science Week, and during that leg of the tour, when I was down in Tasmania, there was Susie and I had a speaking engagement on stage together in I want to say this is Tasmania National Museum, but like this fantastic. It was so much fun to get to know her. She's just sharp and funny and sassy and sweary. And we had we got to get on stage together and do a live interview with a hall full of people, and it was so much fun. And seeing how the role that she's been able to play in helping people in New Zealand to understand the pandemic, to get through this safely. I'm just like, I'm so happy. I'm happy that New Zealand has her. I'm happy that she's been able to do so much good work. Like, she's made me see like the power of SciComm. And it's like, it's not that I didn't know it was there, but like, what happens when people really listen to their science communicators and when government works, because she's been working with Jacinda, of course, and like she's this is what happens when government really works with people who know how to communicate science. You can get people on board with big scary ideas. You can get people to really understand these things, because some people, like, there are some scientists who are really great at the sciencing. Like, I'm decent as an analytical chemist, but my talent is in getting people to understand science. Susie's better than me, but she's she's also a really incredible scientist too. But she was named, what is it, Person of the Year. I think she's been named New Zealander of the Year before too. It's just she's incredible. But like, I'm so happy that you guys have just a fucking powerhouse in Susie. She's wonderful, and I'm thrilled that you guys were all safe. For having a government that took this seriously, for having someone like Susie there to try to make this all understandable. If you guys don't know where she worked with, I forget the name of the cartoonist, but she did a lot of the narration and the scripting for a couple of cartoons that took off early about how to stop the spread. And it was just, she's done so much good work in SciComm that's gone global, and it's been local, obviously, to Australia. And there have been like there's been like street art that's popped up calling her Queen Susie, and it's just, oh, I love it. I'm inspired. I'm just so like, mwah! I love you, Susie. I'm so happy for you. Anyways, I think that's a sufficiently happy note to end on. Anyways, if you're not following Susie on the Twitters, hold on a second. Let me just go. Let me head to Twitter so I can grab her screen name. That's a thing I want you guys to have, because she's fantastic. Here we are. Someone said, but Saive is the queen. Yeah, we could, there are enough crowns to go around. Anyways, there's the link to her Twitter. I want you guys to go check her out. She's a fucking treasure. It's AMA meant to ask me anything, but we are done with the asking of anything, because I gotta go finish the MOS. I really have to go do that so I can eventually have a night. It's Friday. I want to live. Anyways, I love you guys. I will see you it's like I said, we're doing every other Sunday, and this is that other Sunday. So I will see you guys in 2 days. Make good decisions. Keep wearing your mask. Keep getting those vaccines, and I will see you in 2 days.